Can we start with the comments of the second part?
Yes, of course.
In order...
Sylvia, yes. We're going to start with Sylvia to celebrate that she's here from the very first moment. Okay, Sylvia, you have your voice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, hi all. And I think that you well explained the tag of today tags. And we have to start with your last question. So, what do we want to do with the Hammer Square?
Mm-hmm.
Is that?
Yes,
so,
please.
So, with the end. And I've just finished a post that I've not posted yet, but in which I speak about the collaborative aspects of this project and the sense of community that it will rise from this project. Mm-hmm. That is really well explained in one of Noah's posts about it's titled "Learning from Hammer." Who I suggest to everyone to read. I don't know if you have read that.
Yes.
And what I'm thinking about is it's really to overlay a lot of projects, maybe, or something like this, and make a big project made with a lot of small projects.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy to explain, so I've just saw a film that is titled Life in a Day. I don't know if some of you have already seen it or read about it. It's a documentary made from a lot of different persons all around the world describing the life of the 24th of July 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at that, you really have a big portrait of the whole Earth, and you feel really the humanity. So you feel a community.
Mm-hmm.
You feel you're part of a community, and maybe this is the more important things we have to do with the Hammer project. And so maybe living a lot to Hammer inhabitants is much more important than to design a super new square or something like that.
Yes.
But it's just today thought.
Okay, thank you, Sylvia.
Thank you.
So maybe Sarah, we're going in order. Sarah, it's your turn.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay. So, I just posted a new post about my first ideas on Stalker Get, but I think it's still pending. So I have the sketches here. I don't know if you can see that.
More or less.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
What I thought is that I read the booklet and I saw that there are lots of ideas, but all the square is on the same level, despite a sort of topography. But I think that one of the problems of the square is that it's difficult the view of the lake and of the landscape. Mm-hmm. So I thought that in this case, using the structure to cover. Can you see that?
Yes, a little bit. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. In the booklet, actually, I guess it's using just this level, this one.
Mm-hmm.
And my intention is to use also the upper level, so you can have different spaces even in winter, like this, for children to play, or by night, like this, for theater, You know, like Romeo and Juliet, and you know, some facilities that have I don't know, shows and other activities in the square. I don't know if you understand me.
Yes, of course. Well, okay. Let's go with Fabrizio. Maybe we're going to listen to all of you, and then we can exchange comments about the projects. So, Fabrizio.
In italiano o in English?
Come vuoi Fabrizio, puoi fare anche in italiano. I'll translate for you.
I will to use for the to take io vorrei provare ad utilizzare nel progetto dello Stortorg due concetti che mi sembrano interessanti. Uno è quello di fold e l'altro è quello di sponge.
Okay, Fabrizio would like to work on two concepts. The first is fold, and the second one is sponge. Spoon. Okay.
Like,
Okay.
Stephen Hall.
Like Stephen Hall is saying. Okay.
Come dire, è una possibilità che mi piacerebbe provare.
His possibility he would like to test with his students.
Ovvero la prima è quella di fold, dell'uso del folding, per lavorare sulla piegatura dello spazio della piazza, sempre che sia vivibile.
The first is about the work on folding space of the square, and I'm adding myself that maybe it's related to one idea Fabrizio shared with us in a mail, I think, about working on a fountain who could transform in something else when the season is changing. I don't know exactly if it's related.
Quello è quello che dicono gli studenti.
Okay, this is just students, but I think there is an interest in that because I think it's very important that we have to think about seasonal strategy.
Vabbè, della spugna vi dirò se vedo che funziona.
He'll tell us more about the sponge because he wants before to test if it's working or not.
Okay.
Invece con gli studenti sembra che sia, come dire, si stia profilando una specie di divisione dello Stortorg in aree di influenza verso la nuova cultura russa, verso l'altro lato dove ci sono i bar e i negozi, verso il centro e verso il mercato. Come dire, lavorando per zone, per ambiti funzionali o di uso sociale, diciamo.
Okay, and the students are focusing their research on different areas in the square itself, working with relations between the square and different parts of the square, related to what there is around, like the culture house, the shops on the side of the square and the city center. So it's about focusing on different areas of the square.
E questo più o meno è tutto quello che posso dire, almeno del lavoro che stiamo facendo, perché siamo ancora nella fase preliminare. E poi quei due schizzi, quello della ragazza cinese e quello delle 3 ragazze, sono un esempio.
Okay, so this is the preliminary phase of the project, and I recommend you to have a look to the post where Fabrizio is sharing the sketch we have already seen in the open lecture with Edel and Paco. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Fabrizio.
Posso dire una cosa?
Sure.
Io anche chiedo, non so se qui c'è qualcuno che sta a Marna.
No, but we have, not in this moment, but next week we can have Noah, who is currently coordinating activities in Amar. So I don't know if maybe we have to talk with Paco and Edel to organize that. But I think the next week we will have someone from Hamar who could answer questions about the site. Anyway, if you have a concrete question and specific question, just write me by mail, and I will forward to the team in Hamar. Okay?
Ok, no, perché una cosa che abbiamo riscontrato a livello di rapporto dello Stortorget con il centro della città, una cosa interessante, una relazione interessante, che è quella tra lago, Stortorget, chiesa, e poi dietro più su c'è una collina verde con le piscine comunali. Ecco, c'è un grande asse che arriva fino al lago, e quello non so cosa può interessare, diciamo, il progetto dentro lo Stortorget, ma è una cosa molto interessante a livello urbano.
Okay, Fabrizio is saying that he will be interested in working on the main axe of the Stortorget, who is linking the lake, the square, the cathedral, and also a hill, a green hill we have beside a park we have beside the cathedral with community swimming pools. So there is an interest in us on the city structure. Thank you, Fabrizio.
Thank you, Fabrizio. Javier, now it's your turn. But also, as is the first time you're here with the students, please make a brief presentation so everybody can know who you are and understand what are you doing. Okay? Go on.
Yeah. Hi. Well, it's Javier, Rona, Rosa, and Helena. We are in Limerick, Ireland. We started. This is a small course within the normal course in the school. So we only have 2 weeks. This is the second week. We are almost finishing the course, so it has been a bit hard to some way manage to fit the schedule of Hamar and all the activities into our schedule. But anyway, I think we are doing things. And we are also doing Andres workshop, so we are working on both sides. I think last week we weren't able to connect, but this week we are, and we have uploaded plenty of stuff on the blog. I think the students want to share those references. They are mainly reference, and also we work on small ideas, first ideas, and they are in the Andres blog, we shared with them yesterday. So I think the students are going to present the reference this week in 3 minutes. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
First off, I was looking at a reference by Dutch architects, DUS architects. They were using, they were trying to create spaces, informal spaces, public space in vacant lots in the city. So they decided to build a hotel out of sandbags. They were large bags full of sand, not your standard sandbag, but these. What they were trying to do was provide the building blocks for people to make this building. It's only a small building, by maybe 10 meters, where people could stay overnight and then have activities that happen outside. If just a passer-by walk by, they just take part. Maybe they could watch movies. They had a projector at one stage, and they set up a bar. And basically, it was giving this modular shape that the public could use to create what they want, which is something I want to take on into the Dream Hammer project. Maybe that you would create a modular objects from snow in the winter that the public can use to make different things in the square. Maybe just a table that you can stand around and drink hot chocolate, but that basically you provide the building blocks for the public to make what they want to make. So it reacts to their needs and where they want to put it in location.
Okay, hi, I uploaded today 2 references. One was merely a social example of how to get an impact to the people. So how can we advise the people to work on a project? That happened in Poland, in Hague. 2 citizens started just sitting around in their house, but the house was located between 2 churches, one Catholic and one, a mosque. So they just started showing themselves and just drinking tea. So the people took an interest in what they were doing. So basically now the whole house is a public area with lots of workshops and entrepreneurships and also architectural improvement. And they've done a small project for 3 years ago for Women's Day, a mosaic sofa that all the women from the church and the mosque did together, and that's shared a great connection between 2 religions and also in that community. So maybe that's a good idea for the reference for Dream Hammer. Some sort think of a project that will connect different kinds of people.
Hi, I'm Joanna, and today I was looking on some projects that have like some big energy, and I found a kindergarten from Japan, and its biggest potential is its roof, because the roof is the playground. And everybody who was there, they were talking about how if you get to the roof, you start acting, you wish that you were, again, a kid and you really don't want to come down and stuff like that. And then I was looking at some group of architects that are changing public spaces with the community. So in every project they have people from that community that are volunteers, and that they made 6 public spaces in 6.5 weeks. That's also in site from Hamar. And I was looking to make some multifunctional furniture, and on the blog there is it's like a bench that is combined with a tree and lighting, so it becomes a really good social place that gathers people around.
Okay. Just to let you know that all these references and the links are on the blog. We just crowded the blog today.
Okay.
Overload.
Thank you. Thank you, Javier, and everybody. And now it's Hasem.
Yeah.
Hasem, it's your turn.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'll talk about my research. Okay. When I researched about it, I found something. The project posted 2 of them online. One of them was about Fabelli a Valley painting. It's a place in Rio de Janeiro where some artists started to paint all. Okay, it sounds clear now. Some artists
Hasem.
Sorry, Hasem.
Sorry, Hasem. Sorry for interrupt. Can you shoot off your video so we can listen properly to you?
Last week
It worked
better.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Hasem. Sorry.
We're listening now.
Okay, about the project in Rio de Janeiro or Brazil, where artists collaborated with people from the town to paint their the elevations and the walls of their buildings. Okay, they gave them some training, and they started to work with workers to paint their place. This made them feel proud of their rural place. Okay, so this was the value. The other one was Hassan Fathi, the architect. Is an awful. Apart from his ecological approach, he was building traditional ways of building, okay, which was found in Upper Egypt. So the project was in Mexico for an Islamic center, okay, for the community there. He took the masons he worked with, teach the people there, and the people start building their mosque and their school and all this project. Okay. I see that the participation of people in Hamar isn't so great as Francesco said. It's not all people are participating, but I think if we could motivate them to participate in making an art project, an art installation inside the square, this will give him the feeling that this public space is their own private one. Okay. Another thing, while I was searching about the lake, the Medusa Lake, I found an art project I posted in Google Plus, but I don't know if they said there is 20 species of fish in the lake, but I don't know if people are fishing in Hamar or not. I couldn't know. Another thing about the axis between the cathedral and the lake, and the topography of the square. I think the shading and the sun would make the topography vary, okay, so we can obtain maximum sun exposure in winter, and maybe in summer this topography changes and put some other tents or something like that to prevent from the sun. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank
That's
you.
all.
Okay, thank you, Hasem. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. And Ulska, can you repeat the Agatka, if I say it well, question? Because
yes, I can repeat it. Agatha asked how will work with students from Milan or from Italy? If everyone will have their own project, or they will do one project all together? And how will they use network design? How will they connect everything together? That was the question.
Okay. This question is more focused on Javier and Fabrizio teams. And
I think it's for everyone.
Yes, but
we have explained in the first session, the previous session, the session O, that Javier and Fabrizio have to be curators of the works of their students, and the way they are deciding to work with this student is their own work. We can involve students at this level, but if they want to get network design on their classrooms, for us it's fine. I think Javier plays with some advantage because he was on a workshop on Córdoba with us, and he has learned before
about the tactical urbanism concept.
The tactical urbanism concept, and Fabricio is working also with Francesco and us to bring students involved in that kind of network design.
How it's the sense or the feeling of everybody of the rest of the team, Silvia, Sarah, Hassem. You have shared your ideas, but which is the feeling you have in the ways you can interact with each other? Can you talk a little bit, very briefly, about this? How you can learn, Silvia from Sarah, from Hassem, from Javier, and how you can show them some other things and start interacting. It's your turn, Silvia.
I think that also we are starting to do this, but we have just to understand in which way everyone is working. So maybe Sarah has just written something on the chat, and we start to think about it, and things will go on. I think that it will be so natural, and I think that no one has problem with his own project that he wants to maintain with his name or something like that. Oh, for me, it's not really interesting in that way.
Okay. Thank you. Sarah, what do you think about this, about the network design process?
Well, I think it's very cool because, while I was writing
Yes. Hello, Sarah? Yes. Well, we're going to go maybe with Fabricio while Sarah reconnects again. It's okay, Fabricio?
Fabrizio is asking me, I'm translating the question, okay? Fabrizio, stanno chiedendo qual è il miglior modo per far interagire gli studenti fra di loro e con gli altri partecipanti del workshop. Tu riesci a far partecipare i tuoi studenti al blog, leggere i contenuti, commentarli ed evitare che facciano un progetto isolato?
Allora, diciamo che è un po' difficile perché io devo garantire agli studenti che loro facciano il loro esame finale. Questo è la prima cosa. Purtroppo il giorno dove ci sono più ore di didattica è il venerdì e il giovedì non ci sono, quindi non posso nemmeno farli partecipare a una sessione collettiva. Posso farli
per esempio con il blog, no? Con il blog possono.
Con il blog possono, sì. Certamente.
Okay, Fabrizio is saying that it's difficult for him to have students participating in the session because it is somehow out of the class schedule. And apparently students are very strict with that. But I suggest to use the blog because the blog is a non-time tool, so they can always go there and read, post, and comment. There are a lot of comments on the post, so I think it started working like Silvia is saying. People are already working together, so I invite people from Politecnico di Milano to go to the blog and participate to the debate.
Sì, io avrei voluto avere una maggiore interazione, e adesso vediamo magari per alcuni gruppi o per alcuni qualcosa di più interessante, magari quelli che sono più interessati a avere scambi di questo genere, vediamo di combinare la cosa.
Okay. Fabrice is maybe picking some of the most interested students to make them interact with us for the future, for the next coming 2 weeks.
Okay.
Thanks, Fabrizio.
Thank you, Fabrizio.
Thank you.
We will try. We will try Sarah again before going with Javier. Okay, Sarah, it's your turn.
Get into
I
the
was
story.
saying that while I was writing my post about the research of storytelling in Italy, I remember about a post written by another guy, Christian. I think it's by another workshop. So this is very stimulating because while you are reading the other post and thinking about what you want to say, so it's like a mix and everything give you ideas and new insights. So I think it's also good the interaction between the two workshops.
Great. Okay, thank you, Sarah. Great. We remember that we read Christian's post and it was about participation also and everything. And it has really great inputs. So, Javier, it's your turn. How do you are developing the concept of networking?
I think in our case, well, I just to give you some background on the studies on the west coast of Ireland. We are kind of isolated. The school, it's only 130 students, and we all work in the same space. So when you enter in the school each day, it's full of activity. That's a great thing because we may not need this kind of external activity going on, but the main danger of that, and that's why I'm interested in joining the online workshops, is that at the end there's a great energy, there's a great vibe, but it's a very homogeneous. It's like there is it's a mainstream. There's some kind of a single way of thinking about architecture, about public space, and because most of we have teachers from Europe and from outside, but the student body is mainly Irish. In some way, we have the same. Everything is repeated and it's the same story all over again. So I think it's very interesting to join this session. Despite we have some problems with the connection, the mic. That, for example, the student doesn't have that in the day-to-day experience because they can just run to someone else's table, talk with many people. But at the same time, they talk with many people, but the discourse is kind of very mainstream line, like the same discourse. So I think it's important. It's great to talk with people from Italy, from Spain, from Egypt, because maybe the bandwidth is less than the real experience, but the information that is transmitted is very, very different. So I think it's good for our students.
Okay. Thank you, Javier. And now, Hassem. We are very interested in knowing how you perceive the concept of network design.
I like the concept of network design. It generates more possibilities and more solutions for the same project. It's nice to see posts from everywhere, people from different backgrounds, talking about the same subject. People from Norway, people from anywhere, any place in the world. It's very interesting that we don't know how the project will be. Maybe we make some collaborative proposals. Maybe it's not mine, it's not Sarah's, it's a collaborative one. Maybe we make a personal one and another story about an idea. It's very open and very interesting.
Okay, thank you, Hasem. So, here we are. We have some ideas about this interaction, but before talking about this for the end of the session, we want to share some of the comments in the chat.
Yes.
Or I don't know if everybody was reading the chat about fishing. And by the way, we have Noah, who is in Hammer in the live stream, and we will try to have her or somebody from Hammer in the next session to have a more closer overview of the local context. So I don't know if there is a way we can save this as a Word document and share with the students. It's okay that, Francesco? We can save the chat and share with the students. Maybe it's a good thing to start thinking on the work to do for the next session.
Now is writing down on the Dream Mama live stream that she has to go because she has to prepare the lecture. I think we wanted to share your questions. There was a great chat on the session, and I think the second part of the keynote haven't got enough time for questions in the chat. So
about collective and community.
Do you have any question about collective and community category?
Well, we have seen in the first round of presentation that, for example, Sylvia talked a lot with that film and everything about community. Does anybody has a comment? Because it's not the same to design an artifact. These ideas about using the shadow are great, but how are you thinking to make the people to participate in this process? To take our ideas to the local stage and make them participate. Right. Does anybody has been thinking about that? You can put your finger up if you want to answer. Sylvia, I can see that you want to say something.
I was just asking in which way they are not participating. So, because we have on-site workshops, and maybe we have to know in which way they have been called at the beginning. So, if there was a public meeting or posters about or letter about this project, or I don't know. I'd like to know how Dream Mama is managed from the beginning in that way.
Okay. This is a homework for Francesco and Urska.
But I think it's very documented in the blog.
Yes.
Okay, go on, Francesco.
Go on, Francesco, please.
I'm not sure. Okay, I will try to answer briefly. I think there is a little bit problem between communication, because I told this to Hazem and then he remixed this to Sylvia and Sylvia is also remixed it. It's not like that. I mean, I didn't say that they are not participating. I just say that they have a very different relation with public space as we have in Spain or in Italy or in France, because there is a welfare state, so they have a sense of comfort we can imagine. So it's quite far from them to the concept of reivindication of public space. For instance, in Spain we have I'm Italian, but then since I'm living in Spain, I can see that there is a big energy in public space because people are reivindicating, because there are a lot of problems, that there is unemployment, there are a lot of things to complain about, and it's the same in France. The French people like to complain, like to say what they think. And in Norway and in Hamar, there is a general feeling of comfort, and it's very different from our perception. So I think we have to, and people are somehow comfortable and so very, I don't know, difficult to move them and to go to the square. But at the same time, they are participating. If we, for instance, with the Cream Hammer, when we had the call and the lunch and in the square, there were plenty of people there. I'm just saying that it's a very different relation and way to create opportunity for occupying and use the public space.
Yes, I
yes,
think
Silvia,
yes.
that's why I'm saying that, okay, it's difficult to imagine sense of comfort. Yes, it is, but I mean, I think also it's the interesting thing about online workshop. We can't imagine how they feel, so we can maybe give them inputs or new ideas.
Yes, thank you, Francesco.
I have a...
Well, no, I think it's really interesting because we are here in this part of Europe, or even in Egypt, where Hassem is, to perceive the public space in the last year as a space of reivindication. But I think now we have to change our mind, and that's the important thing of understanding the context. And we have a big challenge on how to create so this kind of public space that people will like to use only for enjoy the space, not for political reivindication, not for occupy Wall Street, not just for enjoy what they have there, the space. So I think it's a big challenge for all of us. So this is nice, by the way.
I have one proposal. If there anybody of Norway, of Hamar is there, so they can comment on the blog. They can share what they are thinking about. Okay, let's do some skating things or let's do some kind of project that is not fitting here. So if there's any option for you, Francesco and Urska, to share the posts of the participants to people from Hamar, I think it will be a great idea to recover, to bring this, how can I say that? Feedback.
To receive feedback.
To receive
yes.
feedback.
Yes. By the way, we were talking with Paco when working on the session of today, that we are in a stage that it's important to start networking, by the way. So from now, the task for next week will include that if it is possible that you to share your ideas, but also comment in the post of everybody else, or, well, not everybody, it's too much work, maybe if you have time, but in the 2 or 3 projects you like more, or even in the ones you don't like, and tell why, and we can start exchanging and properly networking to have a start point for the next session.
For example, giving free ideas to improve the projects from other people.
Mm-hmm.
So I can write it down in Sylvia's post and tell her, okay, I look around and I find that kind of project that is more or less similar,
yes.
and so on.
Or, for example, if Hassem wants to work with the parametric snow structure, and if anybody know about, I don't know, some igloo structures in Finland, in Iceland, and want to share comments or starting working together, we want that you include these to keep this in mind for the work of this week, this forthcoming week. What do you think about that, Javier?
We have this schedule issue that I will talk with the students and we'll see if we can manage, because as Fabricio was saying, something great about being embedded in the academic or university is that you can form groups of students, but the other side is that there's some schedules, teachers claiming their hours and all these kind of stupid fights. So we'll see if we can manage and just work around that. But we'll see. I can't promise anything yet.
Okay, thank you. But it's for Fabricio and Javier, it can also be interesting if you don't have, we understand maybe you don't have enough time, but in between you start working all together and not in independent projects. Or if you have 3 or 4 projects, but to have inputs from everybody, so it can be an approach that maybe you can take in your schedules and in your time frames. I don't know, Fabrizio, if you have something to say about it.
We were just saying in the chat that Fabrizio just tomorrow he has a session with the students, and this asks him to comment on the blog. I also add that I think even if Javier and Fabrizio has some problems due to the administrative things, I also think that at the same time it's very interesting to have academical, like traditional structure in the workshop to not isolate from them, because we have to try to be flexible with that. Fabrizio, vuoi aggiungere qualcosa? Would you like to add something, Fabrizio?
No, direi che ringrazio tutti.
He agrees with me and he thanks.
Okay. And for everybody, we have in mind that we are following the 4 main lines of research. But I think, we think that because of the time, you can include this research, and the following is archive and documentation, and the last one is open peer-to-peer design and network design. And I think they are deeply related with what we are doing. You are already archiving, documenting, and we are going to start networking. So maybe the approach is not just to research, but also start using these main lines as the start point of interaction.
I think it's fine.
Okay. So I think this is what we are going to do for the next week, and also Paco and me are going to be reading the post and the projects you upload in the blog to comment and to participate all together. And if you have any questions also, we can contact the local people in Hamar, because, as you were asking, we think it's really important to have now local inputs.
I think it's a good idea that you make a post about what are you seeing the Dream Hamar Start Target Square. Not only the 4 subjects of the research, that you also can describe what the way you look at the square, and what are you going to do there. Okay, in different posts from the research.
Mm-hmm.
Have I explained it?
Yes.
More or less?
Well, I think so.
I'm tired. Sorry.
Did anybody has one more question or 2 before we end today? Hasem, Javier? It's that okay? It's that well explained, Hasem?
Can I say something?
Yes, Francesco.
Okay, just to let you know, to participants, we have a local newspaper in Hamar who is participating now since last week in order to better communicate our activities with citizens. So I think it's a great opportunity for you participants and also for Edelen Paco as the director. If you want to share a report or I don't know, a text about your experience or your idea you are developing in the workshop, we can pass this, we can send this text to the newspaper. And I think now, as the ideas you are working on are not very precise, maybe instead of just tell about these ideas, you can tell about this experience. For instance, how do you feel in designing something very far from you? Because traditionally, for architecture school, it's something normal. But here, we felt somehow uncomfortable with that because we feel as we don't have enough inputs. But I think we can write about how we can help a very different context to have better and innovative ideas. So if someone of you wants to write something, the best way to do it is that you post on the blog, or we can use something you already post, and we can send that to the newspaper. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Francesco.
Thank you, Francesco. Well, I think it's okay. I hope we have explained in a good way what we are going to do in the forthcoming week and for the next session, about not only researching but start designing and interacting with all of us, between Sarah, Silvia, Fabrizio, Javier and Hassem. And also, if you have, as you will start working more properly in the square, if you have any more precise questions, you can send it to Francesco or to Urska.
I think we have a mail list.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to share something or to ask how can you make some sort of thing of the workshop, just send an email to the mail list. We are going to send another email to get in touch right now, and you can answer and make other questions. Francesco is copy pasting the email.
Yes.
Thank you, Francesco.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody, and see you in a week here. Bye.
Bye.